Mr Deputy Speaker, today I am setting out my vision for the development of school facilities to support our children with special educational needs across Northern Ireland. The profile of our children is changing. 1 in 5 children has a special educational need, and some of these children require specialist places in either a special school or in a specialist provision class in mainstream schools, commonly referred to as SPIMS. In recent years, there has been an unprecedented increase in the number of children with SEN. Since 2019, the total number of children with statements has risen from 19,000 to 27,000, and we have seen a 21% rise in pupils attending a special school. This increase is forecast to continue year on year to 2032. With a need to provide over 6,000 special educational needs places across the education system over a 10-year period. This changing profile has presented us with significant challenges in ensuring appropriate places for all children. It has overtaken all previous planning assumptions and placed an unsustainable pressure on my department's capital budget. Consequently, when I took office in February, I made clear to this Assembly that education could not continue with current levels of capital funding. We were at risk of failing in even our most basic responsibilities to keep schools open, children safe, and to provide places for our most vulnerable learners. I also made clear that transforming the existing special educational needs system must be a priority. Transformation of the scale needed will take time, but ensuring our children with special educational needs have access to the right placements to meet their needs is the most important first step. I'm delighted to have secured over £60 million of additional capital funding for education this year. This allocation is vital to provide these much-needed specialist school places. However, this funding is only the beginning of what is required to meet our children's needs. So today, I am announcing the biggest step change to capital planning in education for a generation, with an ambitious and far-reaching programme of investment in special education needs facilities which will transform our education system and the lives of our most vulnerable children and their families. My department's new special educational needs capital programme will require sustained and increased capital investment of around £500 million over the next decade. This must be additional investment. It cannot be at the expense of other essential capital investment in our schools. I am committed to delivering a modern, fit-for-purpose education system that truly meets the needs of our society and our pupils in the 21st century. There is a wide range of much-needed education investment projects which need to be delivered, and I hope in coming weeks to bring forward further plans for the wider education estate. Our special school sector in particular, however, has a legacy of historic underinvestment. It is simply not good enough that many of our most vulnerable children are being educated in ageing facilities, too often without adequate equipment and resources. Our special school staff who work with our most vulnerable learners need and deserve facilities that match their skills and expertise. I have seen for myself the impact that a poor physical environment is having on our most vulnerable children. As a society, we can and must do better. Inclusive and well-designed school buildings can enable and empower those with special educational needs and disabilities to participate fully in life at school and in the wider community. The right learning environment can support and inspire these pupils to thrive and achieve not only in school but throughout their lives. To meet projected need, it is essential that we plan effectively for the delivery of capital investment of unprecedented scope and scale over the next decade. I have therefore asked my officials to establish a special educational needs capital investment programme as a discrete, standalone capital programme. This programme will be led by a dedicated SEN capital programme team within my department. They will work closely with the Education Authority, sectoral support bodies, school leadership teams, boards of governors and sectoral bodies to ensure a whole school system approach to the special educational need investment. The new programme will provide visibility and coherence to SEN capital investment and be an integral part of the Department's SEN transformation agenda, driven through the end-to-end review of SEN. The new programme will have 4 main strands. Firstly, an annual maintenance and equipment programme for special schools and SPIM classes. This investment is the building block for success. I have asked my officials to ring-fence £5 million annually to provide a programme of continuous planned maintenance across the special school estate. This will start to redress the longer-term maintenance backlog and ensure our most vulnerable pupils are educated in fit-for-purpose classrooms. It will address health and safety, adapt facilities to meet children's needs, make much-needed repairs to the condition of the buildings, the grounds and other facilities. In addition, I have allocated £4 million of funding to provide equipment grants to both special schools and schools with specialist provision to make sure they have the right resources to support their pupils. The second key work stream within the SEN Capital Programme is the creation of additional specialist provision classes in mainstream schools across Northern Ireland. Specialist provisions are not new. Smaller, more specialist settings have long been a feature of our education system in providing suitable learning environments for some of our children with special educational needs. We know the benefits of inclusion through SPIMs for pupils and staff. For many schools, having such provision has enriched the entire school community. We now have almost 500 SPIM classes providing small group teaching in nursery, primary and post-primary schools across Northern Ireland. We require in total around 100 new SPIM classes for September. We have agreed 48 new SPIM classes to date, as well as 69 new special school classes. However, ensuring places for all children is a major challenge for us collectively as an education system. It will take considerable effort and commitment alongside investment and strategic planning. To help meet this challenge, the Permanent Secretary of my department wrote to all schools last week asking them to consider establishing specialist provisions for September. My officials have followed up with an expression of interest survey. The response has been truly outstanding, with over 200 schools expressing interest in setting up SPIM classes. It has been an extremely challenging time for school communities, and I am deeply encouraged by the positive response from so many schools and heartened by their commitment to playing their part in one of the most important collective endeavours facing our education system. I am confident that we are making significant progress, and I want to thank those schools that have come forward so far and encourage others to do the same. This is a critical phase in our SEN planning, and my officials are continuing to collaborate closely with their colleagues in the Education Authority to engage with those schools that have responded positively to our request to establish SPIM provision and to deliver the necessary accommodation. We know too the life-changing impact that a successful special school can have on pupils and their families. We are rightly proud to have wonderful special schools across Northern Ireland. They must have the right facilities to support their work. Therefore, alongside the establishment of specialist provision, we will also need to expand the available special school places to meet the individual needs of our pupils in the right setting. The third key element of capital investment will therefore be extension of existing special schools to provide additional places in high-quality accommodation. There are currently 10 special schools within my department's School Enhancement Programme, which provides extension and refurbishment projects across the school estate. These special schools projects will be prioritised and expedited for delivery. We will also consider the longer-term needs for places at each of these 10 schools and, where required, adapt the project to increase available places. To facilitate this, I have directed my officials to set aside the funding thresholds for school enhancement projects in order to deliver these projects at the scale required. The Education Authority has also been asked to review all special schools across Northern Ireland and submit applications for large-scale extension projects for any schools where additional places are needed. We will now take forward special school extensions at pace and scale in a planned, visible and expedited manner with a master plan for each school. The final element in the SEN Capital programme is new special schools. I am delighted to announce today that planning of new build schools for Sperrinview and Knockevin will begin immediately, as to the much-needed second campus of Ardnashee Special School. In addition, projections indicate there may be a need for up to 8 entirely new special schools across Northern Ireland over the next decade. Capital planning will also commence for other new special schools over coming months. A new special school in Belfast has already been agreed, providing 275 additional places for children aged 3 to 19, and capital planning work is well underway. A further special school in East Belfast will also be taken forward. To conclude, our hopes and ambitions for our children with SEN should be the same as for any other child. That is why I am setting out a programme of capital investment that is wide-ranging and necessarily ambitious. Inclusion is not a strategy to help our children and young people fit into the systems and structures which exist in our society. It is about transforming those systems and structures to benefit all learners. I will continue to listen to young people and their parents, to school leaders and governors, so we get this right. Together we can achieve so much. Fairness does not mean everyone gets the same. Fairness means everyone gets what they need. We need to give every child the opportunity to reach their full potential, regardless of their background or circumstance. My department's vision is for an inclusive and high-performing education system that enables all children to be happy, learning and succeeding. This capital investment programme will bring that vision closer for our children with special educational needs. I commend this statement to the House.